Hey Cub, thanks very much. Now, I was just wondering, there's been a lot of talk about you potentially signing somewhere else, and then the Frankie deal came through. Just wondering if you could, kind of give us an idea, how close were you to exiting the UFC?
I had a pretty good deal offered, and then the next step was to send that into the UFC. We had a couple things that we, countered with and wanted to get done, and they said no problem. Then I was just waiting to get it back so we could send it in, and a little time was passing. I was getting impatient, so I said, hey, let's just let the UFC know exactly what's coming, and then we'll go from there. And when I reached out to them, before I even said anything, they made me another offer, and that was all I needed to. That and a fight, and that was all I needed to say. All right, let's do it.
What was the bigger deciding factor? Was it the Frankie fight, or was it the financial terms?
Well, the fight was financial terms were most of it. Just really wanted to feel at this point that I was giving what I was worth, and giving a little bit respect with that. It's like, man, I've done a lot for the company. I want to be making sure I'm taken care of. Don't know, how long I'm going to fight. I still feel great. I still feel like I haven't peaked. And but looking forward with just having a family now, it's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm getting taken care of, because it could go away at any time. You never know. So I want to make sure I'm taken care of, and that I can give my family a great life.
Congratulations on the twins, by the way.
Thank you.
I know you already have a daughter. How nerve-wracking is it with two boys on the way?
I'm pretty excited that they're boys, because we already have the girl, and Royal is awesome. But when we were getting the ultrasound done, we kept joking like, oh, it's gonna be twins, like completely joking. And I was joking that we were gonna have twin girls, and I was gonna get stuck in the house with 4 girls. But when we saw the ultrasound, it was one, and then that baby disappeared, and then it was kind of flipped. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've seen enough, ultrasounds now where I can kind of understand what's going on. And then she, was able to get them both on the screen, and she's like, oh, there's 2. And I was just like, me and my girlfriend were just like, wow, all right. Thinking, man, 3 strollers, 3 car seats, like 3 of everything. We were having trouble splitting diaper duties between the 2 of us for 1 baby. It's going to be 3. So, yeah, a lot was going through our head, but it's a blessing.
All right, well, congratulations on that. And then co-main event on Saturday against Frankie. Obviously, the first fight didn't go your way, but you've both come away since then. That was back in 2014. Mm-hmm. How have you changed? In your estimation, how has he changed?
I mean, I think he's, a lot of the same guy that we've seen over the years. I think his striking is gotten a little bit better. He's gotten a little bit more comfortable throwing, but I mean, he hasn't really had to change too much, because he's dominated most of the people he's fought. He only has losses to Aldo since, and then just recently in that whole time. So I don't think he's had to change, and for me, I've had to change. I had to adapt since I lost to him and a couple others. So I really feel like, looking back, my loss to him was a blessing, because it forced me to become a smarter fighter, go in there with multiple game plans, try to make adjustments on the fly, and at this point I'm with a new team, just trying to be better in the future, and it's exciting, and this is the first step to be able to showcase that.
Where does a win over Frankie put you? Because he was right on the cusp. I mean, he was booked into a title fight twice with Max. Obviously, he got hurt. Then Max got hurt. He fought Ortega. Ortega had the knockout. If you're able to beat him, do you think that puts you, next in line, or even, somebody gets hurt, you step up?
Yeah. I think I'm always going to be right there. So it really doesn't matter to me at this point. I feel like I've had the title shot dangled in front of my face for a long time, so I absolutely do not care. I just want one fight at a time, either whether it be somebody I've already fought or one of these young up-and-comers. I'm willing to take them on. I'm willing to test myself, and I'm just chasing that best performance, and then getting paid, and being able to set myself up. Those are really my goals right now. If the title fight comes in the meantime, then I would be grateful and happy to take that on, but that is not my focus. Just one fight at a time.
Are you surprised this isn't a main event fight? Because it feels like this could top, a fight night card or whatever.
No, because we got added so late. They had already advertised them as the main event, and then we got added later. So I got no problems being the co-main, and I think that's a big fight as well, Barboza and Lee. I'm excited to see that after, and I got no problem being the co-main. I think between the four of us, it's a hell of a main event and co-main.
Is there any added excitement fighting Frankie here in Jersey, being the away team?
Yeah, obviously people want to fight, in their hometown and get a lot of people. I'm sure he'll have a lot of people here, but other than that, I don't really feel like I'm going to be, the underdog or the in enemy territory. I feel like I got fans everywhere. I've fought here before and had a great win. I've built fans here, so I think that's the lucky thing for me, is being an exciting fighter like myself. I've been able to, have fans all over the world. So I'm not really worried about getting booed or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be a couple, but I promise by the end of the fight that there won't be any boos.
With these new guys, young guys in the division doing well, Holloway being the champion, then Ortega, doing well as well. Do you feel compelled to, put on a good fight, especially because it's you and Frankie and you're both veterans in the sport?
I feel no added pressure. We are who we are. We're both, we both go out there and just throw down every time. So that's inevitable. I don't feel any pressure about that. It's just going to happen.
Do you think Frankie's going to be a little different going into this fight than the last time you saw him a few years ago, given that he just got knocked out by Brian?
I mean, I hope so, but I can't really think that that's going to happen. I think he's going to try to really, take control of the fight right away. He's going to want to impose his will and feel in control, because losing is a very overwhelming feeling of not being in control of your destiny. And so I think he'll be trying even harder to get control of the situation right away. But I can't think that he's going to come in there any worse of a fighter than we've ever seen. So I'm expecting the best one out there, the best Frankie.
If the roles were reversed and you were coming off the knockout, would you be coming back this quick? Do you think he's making the right choice here?
Well, I've done it a couple times. In my debut against Lamas, I felt like I made a mistake, and I urged my coaches to book me and fight right away, and I told them that I felt like I was doing everything right and I just made a mistake, and I went on a 6-fight tear and just started tearing through people. And right at the fight after that, the one I asked for was George Roop, and I had that big knockout, and so it worked out perfect for me. Then on the flip side of that, when I did fight Frankie, I got stopped off that 6-fight winning streak, and I had a tough loss, and I asked to be right back in there, preferably a striker. That way I could have time to fix those holes in my game. And I fought Holloway, and I lost that fight pretty bad, and got injured a bunch, and so it didn't work out for me. So I've seen both sides of it, and you never know, and I'm not going to put too much on it.
So it looks like Ortega's probably going to fight for the title, and Aldo and Jeremy Stevens are trying to set that fight up as well. If you move past Frankie here, is there a specific opponent you're looking for next?
Right now, don't have anybody in particular. And I think the division's exciting right now. I'm always the biggest fan of our division, and it keeps shuffling around. And whenever I'm not fighting, I'm at home watching all the 45ers going, ooh, look at this matchup. So I'm excited to see what happens. You never know. Like Ortega, beating Frankie was a shock to me, and that opened up a lot of things. So we'll see what happens with all these fights, and then see how it plays out, and see what's the biggest fight at the right time.
I was just wondering, with you both coming off losses to Ortega, does that change the way the camp goes? Like, so could you look at the footage a different way, since you know how you fought him, and then you get to see how Frankie fought him? Does that give you a little more in-depth look at how you're going to handle Frankie now, seeing how he fought your last opponent?
I think that it's complete opposites. It's like I wanted to keep it standing with Ortega, and so did Frankie, but I feel like that was in my best interest and not in Frankie's. So I don't really feel like you can compare them like that. I feel like to the fans it was more comparable, and they see the way that I was pretty much, kicking Ortega's ass the whole fight, and he was getting desperate, and he was going for those signature desperation submissions that he just keeps getting,
Yeah.
and then the way I felt like he was pretty in control of the Frankie fight. So I think to fans, they really saw that and started giving me more credit for the way I fought him. But to me, looking at the two performances, they're just so different for me.
Thank you.
You good?
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.